Hello, welcome to another Tonalist landscape oil painting demonstration. This is your painter in residence, M. Francis McCarthy, and the painting I'm bringing you today is a revision. It's called No Man's Land, and it is an 8x8. And basically, I think we're missing the glazing stage here. I think I probably forgot to turn the camera on. But I glazed this thing with a good solid pass of burnt sienna, actually transparent red earth oxide from Gamblin, to be precise. Although the burnt sienna from Winsor Newton is the same actual pigment. So there you go. I've mentioned that before, but it's good to be clear because I know some of you are very interested in the colors that are actually being used to get the results I get. No Man's Land wasn't so bad. It just needed a little push, I felt. And so, like you can see, I'm sort of fading out that element in the back. It's a little bit of a scumble, kind of push that back a little bit. I did the original back in 2013. It's on one of these Cowrie ply boards that I got away from. I started working on MDF that was laminated with Cowrie. Cowrie being a really fine grain wood that you can get out here. And the reason I got away from the straight up marine ply was that sometimes it would just have this extensive warping. And when I was doing some online sales, I was just worried about sending somebody a painting that was kind of warped. Although it's not a big deal, really, just pop it into a frame and you never really even know that it was warped. But seeing as I was selling things unframed, I made the switch to the laminated MDF. Since then, I'm just working on straight up MDF coated with gesso now. I start with the black gesso and then I go over it with oil paint. And speaking of that, I did a whole bunch of that last week. I think I'd mentioned that. A lot of those are still drying, and the reason for it is I'd already gone over them with the gesso and oil paint one time, and then sanded them down and went over them with the oil paint a second time. But that second coat is really taking its time drying. It's like watching paint dry. Anyway, No Man's Land, like I say, I thought it had some good, I liked it, and I've always kind of liked this painting. But so I'm just strengthening it in little ways, like I pushed the background further back. That was something I wasn't that hip to back in 2013 when I originally did this. And just bolstering things up, do a little this, a little that. And voila, you have a updated painting. And I like to do that. In fact, I've done a couple this week. This week is, it's Thursday here, 29th. I haven't done a heck of a lot of painting this week. One of the main reasons is I keep going to want to use these boards and just finding that they are not dry yet. So I did find one that's a 6x8. I'm going to do a 6x8 vertical in the studio. It would be an original painting of a reference that I'd set up a long time ago and just not got around to painting. Hadn't found the right time, and originally set it up as a horizontal, but something was bugging me, and I think I just decided to make it a vertical. I just cropped it to the center of interest, and it's up on the board. I mixed the paint. I'm at home at lunch right now, but when I get back, we'll be into it. We'll be doing it. So hopefully that'll go well, and I'm sure you'll see it at some point on this channel. What else is going on? Well, I've been actually futzing around a lot with music, which you'll hear in the background here. Still doing my painting though, still actually doing well with that, and having some good sales recently, and I have a pretty good inventory, so it's not like I don't have enough paintings around the supply demand. I'm into being prolific, and nothing ups my inventory quite like going over these old paintings. Some of which I might have even sent to galleries. They came back, they didn't get sold, and I revised them. In some cases, I may have cut them down at some point. I believe this painting here has always been an 8x8, but there's quite a few that I did back in 2013 when I was only doing 8x8s and 8x10s. So I was doing 8x10 verticals, 8x10 horizontals, and then 8x8 squares, and I did several hundred paintings that year. Some of which were quite good and sold, some of which were less than good and stuck around. And some of those ones that weren't so great, I took them to my ply guy and had him chop them down to get it tighter in. That's something you can always do or try and do with a weak painting, is just crop it down to the focal point of interest. That's not a bad plan. In the latest bunch of redos I've been doing, I haven't been chopping any paintings down, but I have been amping up the color, doing some extensive glazing, things like that, and it's all good. It's all fun. Anyway, you can see we're getting close to the end here. Thank you for joining me today, and new subscribers, thank you for subscribing to my channel. I really appreciate it. And old subscribers, thank you for sticking around. You guys are awesome, and I really appreciate that you take some time out of your day to follow what I do. I mean, I really do appreciate it. And if you haven't, by the way, you can see a better, higher res version of this on my website, on my blog. There's also a store on the website, some other groovy stuff, several years worth of videos and blogs there, so you can go check that out, landscapepainter.co.nz. Anyway, I'll be back real soon with another painting. Meanwhile, take good care and stay out of trouble.